Big moves happening in the crypto space almost daily now. We got massive things to talk about today. Recent podcast with Brad Garlinghouse and Anthony Pompliano. Some really, really good insight pieces from Brad Garlinghouse inside of that. We're going to take a look at that about the XRP security issue. And I love the way Brad responds. We're going to get into that. Then we're going to talk about something that's even bigger, which is Facebook and Libra coin. 1 month from now and 2.7 billion people. What does it mean for crypto? Let's roll that beautiful intro and find out.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and get started here. So shout out to Michael Val, 5 links. Bitcoin surged towards $100,000 next year following yesterday's healthy pullback, with market psychology currently in the belief stage, says Stack Funds. And listen, I think there's a huge upside for crypto as a whole here. And I do want to remind people, Brad Garlinghouse, I believe rightfully so, said about 90 or 99% of cryptocurrencies are going to go away in this space. Now, with that comment, that would leave about, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 75 cryptocurrencies on the table. Because let's face it, there's over 7,000 cryptos currently in the space right now, and there's not 7,000 use cases. But nevertheless, hopefully we've all picked at least one or two on our own that work out for us. But what I wanted to point out about this is that I certainly believe that even with all the things I've pointed out about Bitcoin over the years, that I believe will have to have some kind of policy or regulatory framework approach to deal with a few things. One, the carbon footprint of Bitcoin itself and proof of work in general, whether it's Bitcoin or another coin. And then obviously the idea of the manipulation going on in China. And we're going to touch on that a little later in a second with Brad Garlinghouse as well. So let's keep an eye on the fact that if Bitcoin's going to $100,000, you don't think for a second that some of the altcoins aren't going with it, right? Good call. Russia to recognize digital financial assets as property. We're seeing motion out of the Russian government and the plans to lead the development of the local cryptocurrency market in a civilized direction so that owners of such assets could protect their rights and interests. And look, this is great. Only thing I would say is ultimately I'd like to see it as money, more than property itself. But you know what? It's a start for Russia. They had a horrible stance early on, so it's good to see them making these kinds of strides to actually acknowledge the existence of the tech to begin with. So BNB Paribas credit Agricole in a new interbank digital currency project. And what I wanted to remind people of there, BNB Paribas is obviously a partner with Ripple. We don't know if this is a direct connection, so I just want a full disclosure, more showing this about the idea of reminding you that BNB Paribas is a partner with Ripple. But in the details of this article, it doesn't say Ripple or XRP, but it is an expansion of moving in this new interbank digital currency space and project as well. So I just wanted to highlight that for us, that the expansion of the space just continues. And that's what some of this news is here, just for the next piece or two. The UAE Central Bank launches new office to drive fintech innovation. Central Bank governor says the fintech office will accelerate transformation of digital payments and support financial inclusion. We know that the UAE has really, in the whole Middle Eastern region, has been very, very proactive in moving the blockchain and cryptocurrency agenda forward because they understand clearly the advantages of having this new innovation in their payment system. So just wanted to show the progress still continues forward, right? Even with the lack of clarity throughout the world about what these things are. And again, highlight Russia sees it as property, right? And then we see another country country that doesn't, and then another country that this and that. It's not just the U.S., right? There's an international effort, and you're going to see evidence of that international cooperation to find a happy medium for everyone here in just 1 second. So Ripple seeks key person to set strategic partnership with crypto exchanges. Says Ripple has a new vacancy as it seeks a key manager to work with new partners in the EMA region, which is the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region regarding ODL payments. Again, showing the continued acceleration of expansion to continue to build out the region. And Ripple is already in that region, but they have a new vacancy and seek a key manager to work in those roles. So let's look at price for a second here, okay? 54 cents. That's right. We pulled back nice and healthy yesterday. And I want to shout out Crypto Bull, who, if you're not following Crypto Bull on Twitter, you should be. And this guy, you know, it's not financial advice, but he's been kind enough to share his charts and his insight on the space. And I think that's very cool of him to do. And I want to celebrate him here because I really have enjoyed looking at his technical analysis work and the charts that he provides. So 54 cents. I want to remind people, Crypto Bull did say that we could see when we were in the 70 plus cent range, you know, a pullback to around 50 cents, which we saw yesterday. We're now back at 54. And all of this is loosely based, right? Like it's indicators. It doesn't mean that it's absolutely going to happen, but the charts are suggesting a certain scenario. So I think when we get in these moments where we get beyond fundamental news and we actually start to get that price action, I think that's the good time to start drilling down and bringing technical analysis into the folder along with the fundamental news that we've been getting for the last 3 years. So looking at this here at 54 cents, and then looking here recently, Crypto Bull shared a chart here that says XRP formed an inverted head and shoulders on the low time frame and is now retesting the trend line if playing out 60 cents and above next. Well, I tell you, we're holding at 54 cents, and we've really came back late last night, and it's held throughout the night, it looks like. So this will be interesting to see if we get the volume of buyers in here in the space to really get this thing back up north of 60 cents. And if we get north of 60, then obviously if we can get out of that 70 cent pay channel and get up into that $81 range, well, that would feel mighty nice for all of us. I know it would. Looking here on a deeper chart here, 4,100% potential gains for XRP. Looking forward here, if you look down here at the timeline here, you go past where we're at, we're almost at the end of the year. If we're at the start of 2021, we could be looking at $2. And then going into the summer of 2021, right, just about 7 months from now, a $19, $20 XRP, and potentially before the end of the year and coming out into the fall, potentially $100 XRP here. Anything's possible. And I want to remind people that not only is all of this possible, all of this is also not possible, right? So it's something to look to as an indicator if we trend and hit some of these watermarks along the way. And if we do, then we have to start asking ourselves, what's the probability and the likelihood that we hit the next watermark or the leading indicator? So at this time, and these things are liquid, right? So as these things, you look at these things daily, you start to see pictures, a more clear picture show up, which sometimes, you know, hints even harder that this will happen, or sometimes starts to create a picture that says, nah, things are changing. We're going to monitor this, and I'm going to try to monitor this for a few minutes each day in the video as necessary. But I do want to remind people, do not underestimate the fact that this is also new money to the world, and Ripple has been building the market infrastructure and creating the partners across many different industries in the world to be able to incentivize each of those networks and industries with this new money. And should they decide to collectively use this, let's say like the central banking system that Brad Garlinghouse has told us about, looking to issue stablecoins on the XRP Ledger open source technology, something of this nature could blow these figures out of the water. It's what I talk about here on the channel all the time. And we could see 4 and 5 digits very quickly if the central banking system decides to issue their stablecoin or central bank digital currencies, rather, on the XRP ledger. If they do that, that is going to bring an enormous amount of utility on the ledger and trillions of dollars worth of payment flows. Now, whether they decide to ramp them up if they do this at 10% payment flows and then 20% a quarter later and then 40% a quarter later, this could be a ramping up if they decide to do this. But if they do, you're still talking about massive numbers to be able to handle that level of utility, because they certainly have the liquidity to bring to the party. So I just want to bring that idea in that we are talking about new money. Speaking of new money, we have to deal with the issue of certain agencies around the world and in the U.S. thinking that it's not money, but a security. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says XRP isn't a security and is a decentralized cryptocurrency. Brad Garlinghouse said we need a level playing field not only for XRP companies to compete effectively, but for other projects as well. I want crypto to do well. And I do too, Brad Garlinghouse, and it's well said. And then here's the other comment he had here. Brad Garlinghouse said more than 90% of RippleNet customers are out of the United States. They are not the United States, suggesting that a securities designation wouldn't necessarily hinder the company's underlying business. It's a global decentralized asset. And this is a technology that is decentralizing the world when it comes to payments. That means everything from remittance, me sending money home to mom in another country, all the way up to central banks sending payments back and forth daily in the level of trillions of dollars, or the current FX market that could be settled with a bridge currency like XRP in the tune of $6.6 trillion a day. You feel me? Yeah, it's a big deal, right? It is a big deal. It is not a security. And the reality is there's enough of this world out here that if the U.S. wants to throw a stick in the mud and really send herself to the back of the line of the fourth industrial revolution, calling XRP a security would be a great way to do it. But I don't see the U.S. doing that, and I don't see anyone else around the world doing that either, as Brad Garlinghouse highlighted here. Now, there is a quote here he has here, if XRP were deemed a security here in the United States, we have the other G20 markets that have taken a different view. I'm not aware of any market globally that thinks XRP is a security. Well said. Drop the mic. Brad Garlinghouse. Yeah. Listen, this is a CEO who has worked so hard, and everyone at Ripple works so hard to not put the cart in front of the horse. They have openly said, and we've even heard Jay Clayton years ago say that Ripple's done a very good job working with them and other agencies. And Brad Garlinghouse has told us that they have worked closer with regulatory agencies than any other company or anyone in this space, in the crypto digital asset space. And the CEO of a company like Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, would never make these comments if he thought it would jeopardize his good standing with an agency, right? I think if we've learned nothing else about whether XRP is or is not a security, well, that FUD lasts forever, doesn't it? Because it is still being used to this day to hold the price back. I want you to imagine tomorrow morning you get up and definitively, whether it's the SEC or whether it's some other agency that comes out and says, I now anoint thee, you are not a security, XRP, and watch what happens. Because I'm telling you, this has been the age-old FUD from the very beginning. This has been a way to keep a lid on the pot and keep this thing where they need it until they're ready for it to go boom. And I'm telling you, with the way the conversation is leading now, it is not far from a boom moment, because you can tell that we are ever moving ever so closely to that place where that conversation is going to happen. And it's not going to happen from a YouTuber. It's going to happen on the level of the G7 and the G20. And let's keep going here because this just gets better and better. All right. And then look at it. This is a really funny clip from Brad Garlinghouse on Anthony Pompliano's show. And he asks the question to Anthony Pompliano, do you think that the Communist Party of China could have control over Bitcoin miners? And listen to what Anthony Pompliano dares to answer and watch what Brad Garlinghouse does. I just love it.
Okay, well, let me ask two questions.
Okay.
Do you think the Chinese Communist Party could, if they wanted to, control those 4 miners?
No.
I love the look on his face, and whoever did the repeat on this video is phenomenal. Thank you to Stephen Bulldeep for putting it up here. I'm going to say, look, I like Pompliano. I know he's a Bitcoin guy, but you know, that has to be one of the silliest answers I've ever heard in response to that question. In fact, Anthony Pompliano is probably the only person I've ever heard to dare to answer the question that Communist China Party could not control Bitcoin miners. Anthony, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Communist Party of China has told the people, the citizens of their country, how many kids they could have. But somehow, you've got yourself in a position where you think they can't control Bitcoin and mining. I'd slow down. I'd slow down on that. You know what I mean? I'd back up and take another look at that one. Is what I'd do, Anthony, on that one. I appreciate you so much. But yeah, that dog don't hunt, honey. Yeah. Now I'll tell you, a dog that does hunt is Facebook, and Facebook has announced the launch of its cryptocurrency Libra by January 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just a few days, a little more than a month away. Yeah. Less than 40 days away from January now. Come on in. This is a big deal right here, ladies and gentlemen, because what we're talking about is cryptocurrency, or the stablecoin Libra, right? Make no mistake about it, when the white paper first came out, I specifically remember talking to Big Skinny and then calling Mickey B. Fresh, and I asked him, I said, no, am I wrong here, or is this paper, this white paper, not worth wiping my fanny on? And they both agreed, it is no good. And it was no good. But they've made the changes, necessary changes they need to make, and what they're planning on doing is coming out with a digital coin backed by the dollar. That's a little more like it. And I think what you're going to see is potentially a Libra coin from each country representing the stable coin that the people live in that particular region, right? But we're going to start with the dollar, and it'll be a digital coin backed by the dollar. What I have to ask you here is, because we're about to see 2.7 billion people in Facebook join the crypto race. They're going to join the fourth industrial revolution. Yes, they are. And then everybody's knee-jerk reaction right now, the contrarian, the curmudgeon, is going to say, Brad, that is a stable coin. It is not a cryptocurrency, Brad. Well, you're right. You're right about that, Mr. Curmudgeon. But I would remind you to not be so robotic to think that who else just got into cryptocurrency space? Cash App, PayPal. Oh, that's right. So you think that Facebook's getting in this space to just launch a stable coin? Oh, my. Yeah. Say it isn't so. Listen, this is about to be so big, it's going to squash the PayPal news. That's how big this is going to be. There's 2.7 billion people on Facebook. You think for a second the Libra coin's just going to be about a digital dollar and that's it? They're just shucking digital dollars back and forth on Facebook like marbles. Nah, they're not going to let them play with that Bitcoin. Nah, they're not going to let them play with the Ethereum, right? You think that Libra and Facebook are sitting back and going, nah, just let PayPal and Square and Cash App make all the money. That ain't how business works. This is about to be so big, you can't even imagine how big this is going to be. I know I can't. I mean, I'm excited. I am giddy. I mean, this feels like a bicycle Christmas. No, this feels like a 2-bicycle Christmas. This is going to be good, right? I mean, look, it's going to start with the digital dollar, but I mean, to think for a second that they're not going to start offering the ability to buy and sell cryptos and you'll hold it in your wallet, I'm sure, just like PayPal's framework that they've got. But not for a second could you convince me that Facebook's getting into a Libra coin and not going to have the ability to make money off you, allowing you to buy Bitcoin and or get into the launching a stable coin and not allow you to buy other cryptos and miss all those fees. It's not going to happen. Oh my goodness. This is exciting. Now it all leads to a much larger conversation that none of us are a fan of. And shout out to Michael Val, 5 Links, XRP Crypto Wolf, Jesus DeHero, Bond Crypt, and so many others, and DJ Peter Vass. Crypto tax may soon see its own version of Common Reporting Standard, a CRS, as the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, which we follow closely here, is reportedly working on a unified approach to handling virtual currency taxation. Look, this could not be better news because this is the last hurrah, right? You want to talk about XRP being a security being an issue. They can fix that in 3 minutes at the podium. Back to work. We're good to go. And in fact, at some point, I think that's what we're going to get. And it might not be too long from now. But what really needs to be tackled here is the work that the OECD has been doing, which is a unified crypto tax reporting standard. Now, they don't say exactly what that CRS will be, but they do say that it will be coming very soon, the announcement of what they think that should be. And the news comes as several G20 countries are mandating stricter compliance to national tax laws for traders, exchanges, and other industry participants. The bottom line here is this is to prevent the emergence of tax arbitrage, regulatory arbitrage. So you can't do something in this country and then go over to this country and get the benefits of it. They're well aware that people want to do that, and they're well aware that they plan on stopping it from happening as much as they can. So taxes, taxes, taxes. It's not going away. Market's really not going to go cray-cray like we all want it to until the individual countries collectively agree on what their take is. Like it or lump it. That's where we're at on this day. Hit the like and subscribe, everybody. And don't forget, a little later today or tomorrow morning, I'm going to have some great videos coming out with the one and only Cryptopolis, co-host on this show. Keep a lookout for those as well. We're going to be doing a short series, and I cannot wait. And I will catch all of you on the next one. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Please check out the description box in the comment section. There are really, really great Black Friday specials. 88% off on Pure VPN right now. Huge Black Friday special on Ledger Nano right now. Huge 3-month special on Black Friday right now for Clinton Donnelly, the crypto tax fixer. All those vetted, trusted links and products and services in the link comment section and the description box. Make sure you check out the links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.